Have you ever wondered if the very way you've been touching yourself could actually be working against your health? Now that you're over 60, I know that sounds shocking, maybe even uncomfortable to hear. But stay with me, because what I'm about to share may surprise you, and it could change the way you think about your body for the rest of your life. You see, most men believe that problems in the bedroom are caused by low testosterone, aging, or just bad luck. But after treating thousands of men in my career, I can tell you the real issue is often something much simpler and much more overlooked: the way you handle your own pleasure. And that's not something you'll hear in a commercial for a pill or even in most doctors' offices. My name is Dr. Edward Blake. I'm a men's health specialist and professor of urology with over 30 years of experience helping men regain not just their function, but their confidence and dignity as they age. And I want to let you in on a truth very few are ever told. The habits that worked when you were younger may now be quietly damaging your nerves, limiting your circulation, and even putting extra strain on your prostate. In other words, the very thing you do to feel alive may be training your body to shut down. But here's the good news: it doesn't have to stay that way. With just a few small changes, you can not only protect your health, but also rediscover the kind of pleasure and connection you thought was long gone. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most dangerous mistakes men over 60 make when it comes to self-pleasure, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Now let's begin with the first and most common mistake, one that almost every man makes without realizing it, and one that slowly chips away at your sensitivity and satisfaction over time, rushing the experience. The first hidden mistake most men over 60 make is rushing. And this is far more damaging than you think. You might tell yourself, I just want to get it over with. But that habit quietly teaches your body to associate pleasure with tension, not relaxation. Instead of awakening your nerves, rushing shuts them down. Instead of boosting circulation, it leaves your blood vessels tight, your breathing shallow, and your heart pounding in all the wrong ways. Over time, the result isn't relief, it's numbness, frustration, and the slow erosion of your sensitivity. I'll never forget one gentleman in his late 60s, a proud former Marine. He sat in my office and told me he hadn't felt real pleasure in years. He still had the urge, but it was empty, like going through the motions. After listening to him, the truth was obvious every single time. He was rushing, no space, no calm, no presence, just habit. And that habit had stolen the very thing he was chasing. Here's the reality after 60. Your body doesn't need speed, it needs time. Your nervous system requires more warm-up. Your circulation needs space to expand. And your heart, both physically and emotionally, needs to feel safe. Slowing down isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's honoring the body you have today instead of punishing it for not being 20 anymore. So the next time you touch yourself, resist the urge to finish in 5 minutes. Take a breath, drop your shoulders, and give yourself the gift of time. Treat your body not like a machine you need to fix, but like an old friend who deserves your full attention. Because when you do, the nerves wake up again, blood flows stronger, and what once felt like a chore begins to feel alive. And here's the key: if rushing is the most common mistake men make, the second mistake is even more dangerous. Because instead of shutting you down slowly, it can physically condition your body to only respond in one damaging way. Let's dive into that next. The second mistake is using too much pressure, and this one is a silent killer of sensitivity. Most men don't realize it, but the tighter your grip, the more aggressively you move. The more you're actually training your body to only respond to one extreme kind of stimulation. At first, it feels like the fix: I just need more intensity to feel something. But what's really happening beneath the surface is hidden damage to your nerves, your blood vessels, and the delicate tissues that were never designed for that level of force. I've had men in their 70s tell me with shame in their voice, "Doc, I can only respond to my own hand now." One man said, I thought I was keeping myself alive, but really, I was wearing myself out. And that broke my heart, because this isn't about desire fading. It's about the body being conditioned into a corner, trapped in a pattern no partner could ever replicate. The truth is, more pressure doesn't bring more pleasure, it brings less. Numbness creeps in, soreness lingers, and frustration replaces connection. What your body is really asking for at this stage of life is the exact opposite: gentleness, patience, a willingness to rediscover sensation in a softer, healthier way. Loosening your grip may feel awkward at first, like learning to write with your non-dominant hand. But given time, your body begins to reawaken. The nerves relearn how to respond. Sensations you thought were gone forever start to return. And when that happens, pleasure no longer feels forced. It feels human again. It feels alive. That's the power of shifting from pressure to presence. But here's the thing, even if you stop rushing and release the pressure, there's another obstacle that can rob you of satisfaction just as effectively. It doesn't come from your body at all. It comes from your heart and your mind. And that's the third mistake men over 60 almost never talk about. Let's go there. The third mistake is ignoring the emotional side. And believe me, this may be the most powerful barrier of all, because it doesn't show up in your skin or your nerves, it hides deep inside your heart. Most men were raised to believe that masculinity means silence. You're supposed to be strong, steady, unshakable. But that silence follows you into the most private parts of your life, and over time, it becomes an invisible wall between you and your own body. I've spoken with men who feel ashamed just for still having desire, as if wanting pleasure after 60 is something to be embarrassed about. Others carry guilt because their bodies don't respond the way they once did, and they blame themselves. One man, a retired engineer in his late 60s, confessed that he hadn't touched himself in nearly 10 years. Not because he didn't want to, but because every time he tried, it felt like he was walking into a room where he no longer belonged. What he didn't realize was that the problem wasn't his body, it was the weight of shame he had carried for decades. And this is the truth nobody talks about. Emotions don't just vanish because we ignore them. They live in your breath, in your posture, in the way your blood flows. They show up in sensitivity, in arousal, in whether or not you feel safe in your own skin. When you bury them, they become the very tension that blocks you from pleasure. So what's the way forward? It starts with compassion, with reminding yourself that you don't have to earn this moment, you already deserve it. Pleasure is not something you outgrow, it's something you evolve with. And if grief, fear, or doubt rise along the way, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. And here's the connection once you've slowed down, once you've softened your approach, and once you've opened the door to emotional honesty, your body's ready for something new. This is where healing begins, not just through avoiding mistakes, but by embracing a healthier, gentler way forward. Let me show you exactly how. The secret to reawakening your body after 60 is not more speed or more force, it's slow, gentle touch. I know that may sound simple, maybe even too simple, but this is where real change begins. Because your body today isn't asking for intensity. It's asking for patience. It's asking for kindness. And when you finally give it that, something remarkable happens. Your nerves start to light up again. Your circulation deepens. And pleasure stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like a homecoming. I remember one retired firefighter in his 70s who came to me frustrated and numb. He said, "Doc, it's like the engine's running, but the gears won't shift." He tried harder, gripped tighter, pushed more, but all he found was emptiness. So I gave him a challenge: slow down, loosen his grip, stop aiming for a finish line. At first, he said it felt awkward, like he was learning himself all over again. But within weeks, he told me, "It's not just that I feel more, I finally care again. I'm present with myself." That's the power of gentleness. Think of it like physical therapy. If your knee was injured, you wouldn't slam it into the ground, you'd rehab it carefully, slowly, day by day. The same is true here. Your genitals are not a machine to be forced. They're living tissues, delicate nerves, blood vessels that need to be cared for. And every time you slow down, breathe deeply, and let your touch soften, you're not just chasing release, you're healing, reconnecting, and rebuilding sensitivity you thought was gone. And here's what makes this even more powerful. Gentleness doesn't just change how your body responds. It changes how your heart responds. Because when you allow yourself to slow down, you create space not just for sensation, but for feeling. And that leads us into the next step, the one that takes this practice beyond the physical and into something far deeper, staying emotionally present. The real secret to lasting pleasure after 60 isn't just how you touch yourself, it's whether you're emotionally present while you do it. Because here's the truth, your body can only open up when your heart is in the room too. Without that, even the softest, most careful touch can feel empty, mechanical, disconnected. You might climax, yes, but you'll be left with a hollow sense of loneliness that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with disconnection. I worked with a man in his early 70s who had lost his wife after 40 years of marriage. For 5 years, he didn't touch himself at all. When he finally tried, he said it felt wrong, almost like betrayal. The desire was there, but his heart wasn't invited. He wasn't broken, he was grieving. And until he allowed himself to be present emotionally, no physical technique could bring him back to life. But once he gave himself permission to feel everything sadness, longing, even guilt, his body began to respond again. Not just with sensation, but with connection. That's what emotional presence really is. It's creating a safe space where whatever rises, awkwardness, joy, grief, desire is welcome. It's telling yourself, I don't have to perform, I just have to be honest. And when you allow that honesty, your nervous system softens, your blood flows better, and your body finally feels safe enough to awaken again. This is not weakness. This is strength, the strength to feel, to stay human, to reclaim intimacy with yourself. And here's the bridge once you've slowed down, softened your touch, and allowed your emotions to enter the experience. The next step is making sure your body stays safe for the long run. Because no matter how gentle or present you are, ignoring the signals your body gives you can undo all your progress. That's why the final step is so critical, learning to watch for the warning signs. The last piece of this puzzle is learning to watch for the warning signs. Because the truth is, your body's always speaking, you just have to listen. Too many men shrug off soreness, numbness, or irritation as just aging, when in reality, they're silent signals that something needs to change. And ignoring them can cost you far more than you realize. I remember a man in his mid-60s who came to me during a routine checkup. At first, he said nothing. Then, almost in a whisper, he admitted, "Doc, I feel sore after, but I figured it's normal at my age." What he thought was just wear and tear was actually early inflammation and skin irritation that, left untreated, could have developed into something much worse. Fortunately, we caught it early, made a few adjustments, and within weeks he was back to enjoying himself without pain, without fear. That single conversation may have saved him years of frustration. So here's what I want you to do after every session. Check in with your body. Notice how you feel, not just mentally, but physically. Is there lingering tenderness, redness, a strange numbness that wasn't there before? These aren't weaknesses. They're messages. Messages saying, please take care of me differently. And when it comes to your prostate, the signals matter even more. Frequent urination, weak flow, discomfort in the pelvic area. These are not just random inconveniences. They're your body asking for attention. And the sooner you listen, the better your chances of protecting your long-term health. And here's the beauty of it. When you begin treating self-pleasure not as a secret habit but as part of your overall wellness routine, everything changes. It's no longer about hiding. It's about honoring the body that's still carrying you through life. And that mindset sets the stage for the most important truth of all the truth I tell every man who's ever doubted himself. And the truth I want to leave you with right now. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not broken, you are evolving. Your body isn't failing you. It's simply asking for something different now. Slow down, soften your approach, honor your emotions, and most importantly, listen to the signals your body is giving you. These small shifts can mean the difference between frustration and fulfillment, between decline and renewal. I've seen thousands of men rediscover not just their pleasure, but their dignity, their confidence, and their sense of vitality. And I want the same for you, because you still matter. You still deserve to feel good in your own skin. And with the right care, your prostate, your health, and your manhood can carry you forward for many more years. If this video spoke to you, I encourage you to save it and share it so you can come back to these reminders whenever you need them. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell. That way, you'll never miss the latest medical insights, practical advice, and proven strategies to protect your prostate and take charge of your health as you age. Because your body is still worth fighting for. And I'll be here every step of the way to guide you.